Okay, let's get this set up. Let's do it today. I'm back from my trip, and we're gonna craft today. And it's gonna take just a second for everything to get like going everywhere it needs to go. So welcome if you are on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. And if you are on Facebook, should be loading shortly. It takes just a second. Alrighty, let's see. Go over here. I am going to send a broadcast to the Facebook people because I do that for them who are on our broadcast. Let's see. Copy. Let's see. Message. Oh my goodness. Cancel. Hang on. Channel. Nope. That's not what I want. I forget this every time. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Let's see. Let's go back over here. Hang on, everybody. I have to figure out what I need to do because I forgot. Alright, so I'm going to go to menu. Go to here. Oh my gosh, I forgot what I'm supposed to do. To channel. No, I don't want to create a channel. I want to send a message. I forgot how to do this. I've been gone a brief moment and I've already forgot. Okay, so there it is. I just had to wait for it to pop up. Holy smokes. I get flustered. Alright, so that's done. Sweet. Fantastic. Alright, let's pull this up over here. Okay, so I've got Facebook over here. Hello, everyone. So I set up a pinned comment on Facebook. You can comment the word interchangeable. We're going to be doing the interchangeable birdhouse. And if you're on YouTube, it's going to be in the description.
3 reasons why the human body is good fun.
Turn my phone down. Skip. All right. Sweet. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. I am so glad to be back. I am very, very glad to be back home. It was a very long trip. Very, very, very long trip. And we got back yesterday. I feel like we traveled we traveled over 4 days and we were there for literally one entire whole day. 4 days of travel and 1 day of being there. It was just, it's just so tiring. But we're I'm glad to be back. So today we're going to be doing the interchangeable birdhouse. Y'all, it was eventful. It was definitely eventful. For sure. Hello, friends. Welcome back. I'm glad to be back. So we're going to be doing the interchangeable birdhouse. We have 2 inserts, and I'm going to try to do both of them. Before I went out of town, I did the interchangeable drawer, and it turned out so super cute. I am trying to refill my little makeup sponge bin over here. Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Let's see here. Pull this up over here. Hello. Carmela's here, and I'm pretty sure that starts with an M. Marilyn. I think it's Marilyn. Mimi G on YouTube. I don't know what your name. I don't remember. I think it was Marilyn. Oh, I can't remember. Oh gosh. Hello, everyone. Welcome, you guys. Hello, Facebook friends. You just joined, been shoveling your car out. Oh my goodness gracious. Hello, Angel and Debbie. You guys, be sure to say hello. I have not been live in several days, and so I got to tell Facebook again that I am back. So y'all be sure to do all the things that send all the signals to all the places. And I would be super, super appreciative of that. Hello, welcome back to the South. I know I got home and I was like, it's 42 degrees here. 42 degrees. It snowed the day we left. I was not a fan. I'm glad to be back home, yes. You got your t-shirt club yesterday and you love the saying. So I've never done a black shirt like with just a quote, and I was like, I want to do something that's impactful, something that is motivational, something that's encouraging. And I really, really liked the shirt, and I did the little lightning bolts because I just thought, man, that would be cool. And it's kind of an everyday t-shirt. I love it. I'm so glad that you like the t-shirt club shirt. All right, so we're going to be doing this interchangeable birdhouse today, and there are two inserts, two little add-ons that can go with it. It does come with one, and you don't have to get anything else beyond the birdhouse with the home sign. You can just do this. You don't have to get anything extra. I wanted to offer this kit with the add-on so that you could just get this one. You didn't have to get anything else. You're like, I don't want nothing else. But if you want to get something else, we have additional add-ons in that collection. So if you want to check out this collection, you can comment the word interchangeable, and Facebook will send you a link to the interchangeable page. And if you scroll all the way down, it's right down there at the bottom of that page where the interchangeable drawer is also. Alrighty, so I've got this pulled up over here on YouTube. I'm trying to keep up with all the things. Doesn't mean I'm going to do a very good job, but I will certainly do my absolute very best to keep up with all the comments. Let's see. Let me go back. Let me go back. Hold on. Where is... Oh, I'm in my history. I need to be over here. There we are. I'm like, where am I? Okay. Hello. You love the shirt with saying, shirts with saying, super fun. I do too. I'm wearing the bubblegum cow today. This will be in our auction on Whatnot. I believe not Thursday. Our first Whatnot show is Thursday. I believe it will be the following Thursday. Hello, Christy. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome. So super exciting. Alrighty. Hello. Alright, I'm just gonna set this over here. Yes, they're over there chatting about craft kits and cuts, and if it picks up the background noise, there's a bunch of people talking all at one time. All right, this is the pieces that you're going to have right here. So this is going to be all the things that you need for your little interchangeable birdhouse. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Yeah, so I pinned the comment on Facebook about the interchangeable. You comment the word interchangeable. If you're on YouTube, the link to this collection is in the description. So just keep that in mind. Both of my kids just got their wisdom teeth removed, and oh my gosh, you was a bad parent. You're not a bad parent. It's just unfortunate because wisdom teeth removal is no fun. I'm gonna get some wax paper so that we can start our craft. Hello. Let's go to our crafty view. Let's go to the little craft station area right over here. And this is what we're gonna work on today. So then you guys will have a tutorial for this new collection. I try to do the new collections when we release them so that you have something to follow to get you started, especially with this one with the assembly of the different pieces, because I originally assembled this incorrectly and I glued everything on instead of assembling it properly. So I just want to make sure that we do this the right way. So we're going to do this one real super simple, two colors. Brown for our stand And we're gonna do white for our house, and then I'm undecided on how I want to do the chimney. So as we get this done, I will figure out what I want it to look like. So we shall see. That's how this is going to go. The Corey Richins trial, I have not watched it, but yes, I do want to watch it. I started watching a new series last night when I got home. It wasn't even last night. So the grandkids came over yesterday. Avery had cheer, of course, or cheer. She had gymnastics, and so they came over around 2:30, and so we could see the kids. And then they left a little early because Avery had gymnastics. And so as soon as they left, I started watching this new series called Poldark. It's on, gosh, what's it on? I think it's on Netflix, possibly. You love the new collection? Well, thank you. They will pull through their 16-year-olds. I had a wisdom tooth removed whenever I was a teenager, and I will tell you what, the back teeth are no joke. No joke. But yes, you know, they will definitely recover for sure. So this is the back. You do not need to paint this. It goes on the back side like so. It's upside down. So you do not have to paint that one. So you can just go ahead and set that piece aside. Let's see what else. You do not need to paint this piece. You can set that one aside. You do not need to paint this piece. You can also set that aside. Everything else will get painted. And this you won't need to paint. It is also the back side, so that you don't need to worry about. Everything else we are going to work on. And then our insert, we are going to use different colors for this. I'm going to use some navy. I'm just going with colors that I like and what fit my home decor. So, Poldark is really good. Well, I'm on episode 6. I enjoyed watching Victoria, and then I also watched Turn. I think it's called Turn Washington Spies or something like that. Or, yeah, I think Washington Spies. I watched that, finished that series, and it doesn't have anything coming. So the series is, once you finish watching it, it's over with. Oh, makeup sponges. I'm like, I need a sponge. All right, we are going to use our little pokey tool here to accentuate the lines on here. We do score these, but we don't score them very deep because some of our lasers have different settings, and if we have them it cut too powerful, it will score too deep and it will chop it in half, or this will break. So we just lightly score the kits, and then I'm just going to go over this here with my little tool and deepen the groove just a little bit more before I stain it. Whoops, let me set this aside. I'm confused. Did you not craft this one last week? No, we just glued it. We just glued. What we crafted last week was the interchangeable drawer. And a couple of other things. We did the bunnies. We did a couple of different things. Y'all, it's been a few days. And I'm not even kidding you when I tell you the trip, like, I had stomach problems the day before, on Saturday, all day on Sunday, and then the rest of our trip back, y'all, I had tummy issues, and it was no joke. I was like, I think I might need to go to the hospital. I was not feeling well at all. But I made it through. We came home. I felt better. So, I think I'm okie dokie. Okay. Alright, just want to score through this one really quick too. Just the top of that chimney there. Alright, so we're going to start by staining this. With the, I'm going to stain this part with the wax, and then I'm going to do the rest of it with the brown paint. sometimes my lid doesn't want to open. Oh my gosh. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. My goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. You missed the Olympics. You was watching the Olympics every night. Oh, we didn't watch it every night, but we did watch it. Like different things in the Olympics we watched. We just didn't watch all of it. I like the ice skating. My husband likes the skiing stuff. So we're going to do this wax up here, and we're going to do this down here paint. So we're doing like a split on this. Alright. So this way it's going to distress really nicely whenever I go to sand it down. Alright, let's get us a paper towel. Let's wipe off the excess. Okay. So the reason I'm using the dark wax here is because I like the way that it distresses. You can use brown paint. It just won't repel or flake off or distress the way that I really want it to when you layer a paint on a paint. But it can distress. It's just not the look I'm going for. So I'm using wax to make sure that I get the look that I'm going for. Because I know what result I'm going to get. I'm doing great today, Rhonda. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. All right, so let's do the rest of this brown. Okay, so we're going to do our little post here with the brown paint. All right. And that is that. I am going to also do this here, brown. And then I'm going to do this piece here, brown. Make sure to hit the thumbs. I know, right? Thank you. Thank you so much, Queen Mother 12. Well, you know, on YouTube, I'm really trying my very best to be like consistent. The thing is I know that a lot of people they like the videos they can skip through, and I'm over here without a production chip. I'm just here crafting and showing up, but most people prefer to watch a replay. I have learned that over the years because they don't have time to sit and watch the entire thing while it's live, but there's some people who do, but most people are on the replay. But yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. But we hope that our live community grows on YouTube. And if not, that is okay. They can hang out on the replay. All right, so I'm making sure there's nothing else that needs to go here. So this goes here. There is a little piece. Where is the little piece? Hang on, let me make sure. Okay, so am I missing something? I feel like I might be missing something. This goes here. This is gonna go over that. So we do need to paint this one. Okay. We do need to do this little bottom section here. I wasn't quite sure, but now that I've checked it, I'm pretty sure that that's how it goes. Yes. This is going to go here. That's going to go across there. Yes, 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 yes. All right, and then we're going to do our stand brown also. Curling is boring, and I swear it was every day. Michelle Borders, you are not wrong. You like when you can watch live? Well, I like when people can watch live too. I think it's really fun to visit with people and have like that, you get that real-time conversation where people can talk about things, bring up topics, and you can have like a whole little conversation about whatever it is you want to talk about. On the replay, most people are like, I have hundreds of videos that are replayed, and so I don't always see the comments, like the replay comments. I don't always see those, but I usually can see most of the live chatter. But yes, do all the little likey lovey things. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Let's see. So we're going to do this light mocha. These are the two colors. I have asphaltum, it's my brown, and I have the light mocha that's going to be my white. It's going to be like a cream, like a creamy base, not like a bright white, just so you can see the difference in the two. There is a clear difference in the light mocha and the bright white, and I wanted something that was like, if I used a white, it would be okay, and, you know, on top of the light mocha, or the light mocha. So I wanted some differentiation. So those are the two colors I'm using so far for a birdhouse. And now we're gonna go in with our light mocha. Now our birdhouse pieces, I'm gonna do these separate because this is the attachment parts up here. And this is more of the birdhouse parts down here. So this is the attachment, this is the base. We're working just on building the neutral kind of base for our birdhouse. And then your pieces interchange on and off. Thank you, thank you. All right, so now we're gonna take another makeup sponge. I like to use sponges and brushes. I really like paintbrushes, but I also like sponges too. But I'm gonna do the top part of my birdhouse, and I don't want to do this part here. So I'm gonna try not to get my paint up in this little brick area because I'm brainstorming what I wanna do with that. But we are going to do our little birdhouse slat, like it's like a shiplap birdhouse. And I'm gonna go over it, kind of messy, because I like that look. Not everybody loves that. Some people don't like distress, some people like it really clean, and I like it distressed. The more the merrier for me. So I'm just gonna come right up to that edge, go across. Let me move that up here. See how I'm kind of doing it a little bit messy? I don't know if you can see this, where it looks like it's a heavier coat and then it's lighter. This little door is going to interchange over this. So this is going to be what kind of sits over our birdhouse, and this is going to be the foundation for everything that we change out of it. So I'm like, okay, how do I want my birdhouse to look? I want it to look like it's been outside for a while. The paint's chipping off. It probably looks like it needs a remodel. I'm wanting this look, okay? So then I'm gonna decide, do I wanna add any more layers than what I already have here? Do I wanna add extra, like an extra coat, like over here, down here? Do I wanna do some kind of up there? Maybe some like that. And then I'm also gonna sand this. So we're gonna just come in and do just some spottiness. Just popped on. Hello, hello, hello. I think I'm the only one ever to say I don't like watching the Olympics. Oh, you just don't? I like the specific things in the Olympics. Some things I don't understand why there is Olympics for it. I don't understand why there's certain things that have, like, you're competing in the Olympics, like you're an Olympian. Curling would be one of those, in my opinion. Curling is like what is the skill? I've never done it, so I don't know it. I certainly don't want to insult anybody who is like, if you love curling, just disregard what I'm about to say. I don't understand the skill set level and like pushing the thing down the sheet of ice and then, like, you know, whatever they got to do with the little pusher thingy. I don't know what it's about. It looks aged and you like it? Me too. The paint looks great. Thank you. Hello, Kathy Hendricks. Hello, all of our YouTube friends. And hello, all of our Facebook friends. Hello, hello. All right. So now I'm going to do the top of my little birdhouse here, the same color as my birdhouse. And I'm just going to go over the top of this with my little sponge. And I think I'm going to leave my brick or I'm going to go get like a reddish brick color to do the brick or a gray. I'm unsure. But for right now, I'm going to just leave it like so. All right, now we are basically at this point, we are really done with our birdhouse. Do you want to add just a little bit more to the top of my little chimney here? So I've used 2 colors to do the foundation of our birdhouse. And now we're going to sand and make sure this is ready. You just printed the birdhouse set. It's really a cute set. It really is. Here it is. Here's my sandpaper. All right. Clean this out because it's kind of gross. And we're going to go into our stand, like the little post. And I am going to just distress it to however I want it to look. And I want mine to look really scratchy. And I'm using like the corner. So here's our post. And then when we put our inserts on, this will be mostly covered by whatever the add-ons are. All right, now let's do these pieces. I think I might paint these a gray, but I'm not sure, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand them. And I'm gonna go through this little scored line here. That one's going to go at the bottom. All right, our stand. Oh, my wax paper is like lifting up. You have to leave to take some phone calls. You have to watch over the beginning. Hello, hello. Lots of tiny details, but fun. Yes. We're going to do inserts today, too. If you guys are watching, I just wanted to remind you, I will be back on after our craft today to talk about our whatnot that we have coming up on Thursday. Dylan, Rosemary says she loves your laugh. She can hear you. He said thank you, and he's giggling. Do what? What did you say? Everyone says they love Dylan's laugh. So we a couple years ago we released T-shirts, which is like the one I'm wearing, and this year we decided that it's very challenging for me to try to do the crafter side of things and manage like the apparel side of things. And so I'm like, we probably should just discontinue these because I cannot keep up with all the things. So we have all of our t-shirt inventory that we're going to be clearing through on Whatnot. And I'm going to come on and talk about it. And I'm going to walk you through like all the things. But I don't want to do it on here. But I just wanted to tell you that I will be back on, and we are going to be doing a Whatnot sale on Thursday for all of our t-shirts. Not all of them. We're working on, we're doing St. Patrick's, Easter, and spring because we want like that's something that's current. And then we will be doing the rest of our different ones in other shows that we have scheduled. And then we're also going to be doing our craft blanks too, that are like overcuts. The wrong thing was cut, and like overstock stuff that was kind of left from our inventory closeout. And we thought Whatnot would be a fun place to do that. All right, so this is how I've kind of distressed the birdhouse itself. I think it looks really aged and cute. Do the chimney just a little bit, and let me go and look at a chimney color really quick. Give me just 1 second. I think it's like heritage brick. Is it heritage brick? This is heritage brick. I'm gonna try that. Hello everyone, welcome. So this is like, I'm gonna just lightly do it. I'll show you how I'm gonna do it with a paintbrush. Oh my gosh, I can't get it open. Alright, so we're gonna use us a tiny little brush. This is the one I'm going to use. It is an 1/8 of an inch flat. No, it's not. It's angled. It's got a little angle to it. So we're going to take a little bit of that, and we're going to coat our bristles with just enough, not like a heavy load. And then I'm going to go brick by brick and just lightly dust over it, not going all the way to the edge. I don't want to fill in those little lines, so I'm just doing a little. And then we're going to come right over here. Do this one. And that little sliver right there. And then this little sliver. And so now our little top of our chimney is looking like this. And that's all we needed, was just a dab. A little dab will do ya. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my crafty show. All right, so now we're going to put things together. We've got everything kind of assembled. If you want to do if you want to do this different colors, you can certainly do that. You want to change up how this looks with the brown, you can do that as well. I'm just trying to keep it kind of neutral, because all of our little add-ons are going to be what is like, it's going to create the character as we change it out. It's an interchangeable birdhouse, okay? All right, so let's get our glue, and I love this glue right here. It is called Stick Fast Thick. My absolute favorite. I get it on Amazon, and I have a love-hate relationship with this stuff, okay? Sometimes it sticks really good, and sometimes it's like, what is happening? So we're gonna take, so this is number 1, and then this says number 2. What you do not want to do is get any glue in that little opening right there. You don't want anything in there, because your little door is gonna slide into here, okay? You don't want to get it stuck. So I'm gonna try to put glue away from that little area. And then we're going to put this on right up there. We're going to line it up, and it usually sticks fairly good. And I like to flip things upside down sometimes so that I can level it out and make sure that it's attached. So my glue is now stuck. That was pretty quick, huh? Some people like to use wood glue. Some people don't, like to use other brands of this type of glue, but I really like the Stick Fast. All right, again, we do not want to get glue in that little opening, so I'm going to put glue on the right side and the left side, away from the middle, And then we're going to attach this over the front. Okay, now we want to make sure that we get it all lined up and even. And now we've got our little pocket. See, we got a little receiving pocket for our door. So our door will slide in and out. And each one of these little kits have a different door. You're going to be able to change out your doors. Stick Fast is amazing. You are not wrong. I love that stuff. So again, I did a white birdhouse. I did brown here. I did a brown post. And then we're going to add on the next layer, which we did not need to paint this. Okay, this goes at the bottom, and then this piece goes over the top, and that creates a little receiving pocket there. So this will be next. And you just want to make sure that everything is attached properly to there, so that when you put your little birdhouse in the stand, everything going to sit just right. It loves finger sticking too. It does. It does. I have had a lot of moments of trying to detach my fingers. Alright, so again, do not get glue in this area. You don't want any glue in there. So I glued further away from the middle. This glue goes a long way. You don't have to saturate the entire piece to attach. See how I got glue in that little spot right there? I'm going to clean that off because that's a no-no. I dropped it. Alright, so this is going to go on here. Just like so. And then we're going to glue this into our stand. So now we've got our little receiving pocket down here for this next thing. It's going to go right inside like that. So you got your little pocket for your doors. You got your little pocket for what goes into this little area. Now we're going to stick our stand. But I want to go ahead and sand my little brick just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a marker, this little gray marker here. And I'm just going to go right along the edge of the bottom of our chimney. I'm also going to come right along the edge of this here and just give it a little distressing. And then anywhere those little circle dots were on the edge, I'm going to go over those too. But we're going to use a dark gray alcohol marker. You can use a Sharpie. And it's just like little nail heads. See the little nail heads. They're just small. I might need to use a black. Could also do them kind of like a rusty color. Let me get a different. Let me get my really good pen. So this is like a calligraphy archival ink pen. So I'm just going to go over those a little bit more because I'm not liking that alcohol ink pen and how it did. So just do those. And now we've got some little nail heads on our boards, like it's been nailed together. We're going to do this one, that one, here, and here. And I like to kind of do this after I've distressed because sometimes you really can't see after you've sanded everything down. Just in case you can see it, I'm going to go ahead and do this up here. By any chance, can you start having some new red, white, and blue merchandise coming up for... We will have that. We will have the collection for that. It's currently February, and so I haven't quite gotten through the other things on my list, but yes, we will have those things for the 250 year. Yes, we will have things for that. Alright, so just up underneath the top of our chimney, wanted to accentuate all of those little areas. So now we're going to glue this into our stand, which is right down here. And I'm going to add glue at the bottom. Whoops. Pull that off of there. And just want to make sure I've got enough glue because we're going to be changing this out a lot. And then you just kind of have to find the rotation of the stand. I noticed that her center support is not exactly in the center if you put it one way or the other. So make sure that you get it centered in the slot the right direction. And then if you want to, you can add little green things. You can add moss. You could do stuff on the back or on the front. You can really dress this up. But now our birdhouse is ready for our inserts that we're going to do. So this is going to be the base of your birdhouse, and then you're going to change out everything on this. So this is what you're going to be left with every time you change it out. Okay, so now, oh, I do need to add on my back. I forgot about that, y'all. Let me add the back. It says back. And I forgot to attach that. It's optional. It's just an additional support. And you could do it after the fact. Okay, there you go. All right, here we are, all done. So we're gonna set that aside, and now we're gonna work on, this is the add-on interchangeable that comes with it. So the number one thing you don't wanna do is glue on. You do not wanna glue this on to your birdhouse. I glued it and assembled it incorrectly. When I was first taking pictures of this kit, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to do that, and I glued it on. So you don't wanna glue on your pieces. So your birdhouse tops are all going to be interchangeable. Let me show you this one. This is a spring. This is the spring birdhouse door. So here's your little spring pieces. Here's your spring door. This is another roof that's completely different. And then your little insert. And then we also have an Easter one that looks like this. How it's got this roof. And then this frame. This goes on the door. And then you've got little eggs. So each one of these has a different add-on that you get a new roof with each insert. Hello, Laura. Welcome. Welcome. All right, so let me show you how this is going to go. Okay, so we've already popped out, because this birdhouse is going to come with this one. It comes with the basic home insert, okay? You don't have to get some, you know, it's not just the birdhouse by itself, and you got to buy everything. Some of our bases are like that. But this one's going to come with the home. So if you just want this, you're like, I'm good. I don't ever want to change it out. You still, in case you ever want to change it out, you want to attach these pieces to your roof just in case you decide that you want to. Don't glue this on, okay? So this is what you're going to work on next after you do your birdhouse, okay? If you get this kit, this is how you're going to do it. You need to decide, okay, how do you want to do your door? How do you want to do your roof? This is your neutral one, okay? You want to do a wood roof to match your wood base. You want to do a colored roof. You want to do something. I'm going to use blue, so I'm going to use deep midnight blue because I love navy. I'm also going to use, I might have left it over there. I was going to use a gray. It's like, almost like a white gray. Let me go grab it. I bet I did. I did. I forgot it. It is Storm Cloud Gray, which I love, And then I'm gonna also use fawn, and I'm going to use these 3 colors right here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of what I'm doing. So we're gonna use deep midnight blue, fawn, and storm cloud gray for my add-ons to go with my birdhouse. Now remember, this is the foundation, and I want to coordinate that, like, all these are going to go together, okay? But this is just my style. You do you, okay? So I'm going to use my same plate over here, and we're going to use our storm cloud gray. We don't need a whole lot. We're going to use our fawn is going to be, so like we've got a dark brown color here, we're going to use a light brown, like a contrast, like a khaki, for our other brown color. So we've got those 2, and then we're also going to use the deep midnight blue. I know that some people are like, farmhouse is so out of style, cottage core is out of style. I don't care what's in style. I do what I like, and I'm not going to change my mind. Like, I'm going to do what I like. I do some trendy things, but for the most part, I really like to just do what I enjoy, you know. So, I'm going to do my home. My home letters are going to be navy blue. Okay, so we're going to paint all of those blue. And my backer is going to be the storm cloud gray. So we're going to do our backer, that color. So I'm going to go ahead and chop these off. Let me get my scissors. And we're going to reuse our sponge. And if I still need to use this, I can still dab and use that top. And then I'm going to also cut this one off. And we can use this one too. And then let's do our storm cloud gray for our base. And this will need 2 coats. I've found that the crafter's acrylic does not coat near as good. Hello, Liz. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. You see how it doesn't really give great coverage, but I really love the shade. So we're going to do 2 coats of this. And then I think I'm going to do my door also gray. Fairly certain. Alright, so I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to do my door gray. Oh, we're going to need black. I forgot about that. And I did not, notice how I did not add any base wax or dark brown. I didn't undercoat it first. I just left it the wood color. So those 2 right there. And then I think I'm gonna do I think I'm gonna do, this is like how I like to do. Sometimes I'm like, I know exactly what I want to do, and sometimes I'm like, I don't really know exactly for sure, until I get some coats on things and I can kind of like visualize it coming together. So I'm undecided how I want to go about adding the navy down here up into the top of my birdhouse, which we could have done a blue door with a gray trim. We might change that. So I'm going to go ahead and get navy on my letters so I can see what's happening. So let's get our blue, our deep midnight blue. And let's go right over that. And I think this is going to be adorable. And we might need to do another coat. We shall see. I did not want to get up this morning. I feel like traveling is just so exhausting. And I had to drive my husband's truck. We were going to get a trailer for my mother-in-law while we were there, but we ended up bringing home a 10-foot U-Haul with her things. So I drove my husband's truck, and April has never driven his truck before. So she did not, like, I didn't have a relief driver. So we drove so much on Sunday. It was so much. We drove and drove and drove and drove and drove. And I was just, we had 3 hours left, and I was like, you know what, I'm not doing it. So we stopped in, it was just outside of Atlanta, but not quite to Macon, in a little town. I don't remember the name of it. But our hotel room was really nice. Alright, second coat on the letters here. I am going to do a second coat on this now that it is dry. Let's do that. Shoot, it looks like it might even need a third coat. Let's just see how that looks after it dries. And I'm not going to do a second coat there until I can see what we are working with. Over this just a little bit more. Today, y'all, I glued together new little shelf huggers. They're like little, it's a little dog. Let me show you while this is drying. It's a little shelf hugger. There's a cat and a dog and a bunny. So super cute. Worked on that. I worked on some faith-based Easter sign kits. And I planned on doing the big window stuff, but I didn't get to that. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Let me dry this, speed this along. But I had 100 million emails to work on today. Let me just see how this looks before I put a second coat on here. I think we're having lasagna for dinner too. I know that it's not glued on. I just want to get a visual. So H-O-M-E. We'll sand it. We'll do all the little distressy things. I think I want to do a... How do I want to do this? I think we should do a blue door or a yellow door. No, blue door. Let's do a blue door. We'll do gray on our roof. Blue door, gray on our roof, tan. Yeah, let's do that. Let's switch it up. Okay, I'm going to leave that sit there. I'm going to change up my door to blue. And we'll do a tan, like a khaki trim around our blue door. So let's do that. I think that's going to be cute. think I'm just going to do the one coat. Good afternoon, Susan. Hello, hello. We are going to paint the little opening of our window black. And then our little knob, we'll come back to that too. Just going to go around it. And then right around our little window. Happy Tuesday. Alright, I think I like that. Let's do the khaki. That color is fawn. You love the birdhouse, Luann? I do too. I'm so glad because it's like it's a great starter because it comes with the main with the add-on, like with the one I'm working on, it comes with that. Alright, so we're gonna do this fawn color, which is pretty much almost the same color as the wood, but it's gonna just be a little bit richer once it dries. And this is gonna have like a little bit of a boho vibe, I feel like, maybe. So that's gonna go on there. I'm gonna use some wax on it as well. We're gonna do this trim piece here. Okay. And then we're gonna do gray. It's adorable, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I was also trying to coordinate this to go with our interchangeable drawer because I felt like this would be a really cute, just cute. The piece that's going to go around our window, let's do that. Let's also do that this color. Goes on the little door, and then we'll do the inside black. I like that. Okay, so I think this is going to be a really great base. These do not need to be painted. They go on the back side of your little roof here, but I am going to go over this one more time. Over this one more time. And then we're going to do our other add-ons. I'm going to try to get as much done today as I can since I've been gone. Alright, so now we're going to do this gray. Let's go ahead and grab that. And we're going to need to get some more paint on our little plate over here. Hope y'all are having a great day. I've had a long day. I've been sitting at my desk most of the day. So after this one, I'm going to do the spring, and if we can get to the Easter, I will do that one. If not, we will probably do it another time, and maybe we'll do a different style of birdhouse. But at least we're going to be able to get this done for the most part. Alright, so everything is painted. Probably going to need a second coat. Over it one more time, and we are going to sand this down. All right, all done. All right, right, while that's drying, let's go ahead and sand down all of our little pieces here. We're just going to use our sandpaper. Go around my edges. Completely optional. Sanding is not a requirement. Somebody asked me, I think on YouTube, somebody said, why do you sand? Sometimes it's to smooth out your paint. Sometimes it's to distress. And it is optional. I remember when I spilled the blue paint on the carpet. Girl, don't even get me started. Yes, I do. Oh my gosh, do I ever remember that. It's when my son and his wife moved to Utah for a month. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. I had zero coping skills. Zero coping skills. Absolutely zero. Alright. Let's go ahead and make sure this is dry. I mean, like, children don't move away from their parents. You know, I probably would still not know how to cope if my children were like, we're moving across the world. I would probably lose it. Who knows? Maybe I wouldn't. I mean, I've come a long way since then. But yes, I put that, our bed sat on top of that blue paint stained on our carpet until we ripped up the carpet and sold our house and renovated it. Right. But yeah, I painted a whole accent wall in my house navy. I loved it. If you're not sure what I'm talking about or what she's talking about, back in 2020, I think it was 2020. No, it was 2019. The year that Avery was born. Right before COVID was COVID. My son and his wife moved to Utah where they had friends, and it was just kind of like, it's happening next week. Like, it was just so fast, and I'm like, I'm not one that makes impulsive decisions or like just does things. I mean, sometimes I do, but not moving. Like, I'm just not gonna like, I think we should move next week. No, I'm not. I'm not in that part of my life, but some people, like, 100%, that's what they do. Like, they're okay with that. I could not, personally, I personally couldn't do it. Like, I've got to really plan and forecast and do all the things. But anyways, they moved to Utah. They were like, we've never moved. We've never lived anywhere else. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So, to keep myself busy, I was like, I think I'm going to paint this accent wall in my bedroom navy. Why not? And my pajama pants I was wearing, probably for the third day, God knows, only God knows what, I don't even remember, caught the handle of the paint can and dumped the entire new gallon of navy paint on my carpet. So I'm scooping up paint with my hands to put it in the paint can. It was everywhere. And I was not even going to bother to try to get it out of my carpet. Where was it? It was in Salt Lake City, I believe. I know they were talking, it was winter, it was wintry at the time. And they said the air quality was not the greatest. It's like in a bowl, whatever the city is. It's like kind of in like a bowl in the earth. But yeah. Yeah, dumped that whole gallon. And I just, what could you do but cry? I mean, and I was like, this is what happened. Did you not put a tarp? Absolutely not. I've never put a tarp. Absolutely not. Me? Tarp? No. Absolutely not. Put down a tarp. that would be the ideal responsible thing to do to prep your area. No. I think I'm so careful. What do you need a tarp for? No. I'm fairly certain there was absolutely no tarp involved. We're going to bring the richness back of this momentarily, but I'm going to get my pen. Oh, when I stepped in the hole, yeah, we were carrying our table off of our porch, like our outdoor gazebo, and I stepped down carrying that table, and I hurt my ankle, and I was in a boot for 4 months. Absolutely did that. Avery had dug a hole, and I stepped in it. Rolled my ankle so bad that I wish I would have broke it, because that's how painful it is. If you've never torn muscles like that, the orthopedic doctor was like, tearing your tissue like that is like it's far less painful to break a bone. And I was like, why did it have to happen to me? You know, it is what it is. I think we're going to do a little white knob. I think that would be adorable. Let's get our little jelly roll pen. Let's do us a little white knob here. Because I'm going to do little white accents also. Our little door, and then we need to sand our little piece here that's going to go on our door, a little window. All right, that's sanded, that's okay. We need to do our letters now, and then we'll start assembling. I'm going to do these a little scratchy. Just a little. Not like over the top, just a little. Let's do our E. I got a little carried away right there. Do this corner down here too, kind of even it up. And our H. Sprain is worse than a break. It takes longer to heal. That's what my doctor was saying. Because every time I would go back, he was like, you cannot come out of this boot. Like, you're going to be in this thing for a while. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. And even after I got the boot off, I retwisted my ankle. And I had to go back to the doctor again. They didn't put me back in the boot. They said I didn't injure it. But I did. My ankle just wasn't as stable. Ooh, that was kind of chippy. Alright, I'm going for a look here. If I need to sand it some more, I will. Alright, so we're going to take our wax brush from our dark wax, from our birdhouse, and we're just going to go around the edges just a little bit. Just a smidge. We're not waxing like the whole thing. Just go around your edges with the residue. letters here. We're gonna glue them on. Now, I will tell you, I have this idea. Just sharing this idea with you. Not saying you have to do this, but this is what you can do. If you want to create some like where it looks shadowed and raised, you can take a marker around your letters and just outline the whole thing and like over outline it. With an alcohol marker. See how it's getting a little darker? I don't know if you can see how it's drying. And it can give it a little raised effect. And you want to do that around the outer edge, so it looks lifted. Again, not required. So just like so. And then when you add your letters over it, it's very subtle. It's not over the top. It's not over the top, but you can do that. I'm just not going to take the time to do all the extras on this one. But that's one of the ways that you can add some lift to your letters. They already look lifted anyways. But to really give it a little more, you can do that. Alright, we're going to glue on these letters, and then I'm going to wax the letters after they're glued. Just a little. This glue is amazing. Just glue them on. All right. So now we can take our wax brush and we can kind of go over the top. Just kind of if we want to. So now our little sign can go right in here, in the bottom of our little birdhouse. Now we can work on our little door and our roof. And I may come and add some little white bits to this. I'm not sure. We shall see. But we're going to pop out our little window. There's a little spot that's going to be there. You can sand it and then use a marker to kind of camouflage that if it bothers you. And we're going to go, I'm not going to sand my window. I'm just going to add this little, I'm not going to sand the black. I'm just going to add the little window piece. And you can do it like up and down. You can do it like an X. Whatever you want. I'm going to do mine up and down. Hello, Jean. Hello, everyone. You're late again. How's my mother-in-law feeling back? She is so glad to be back in Georgia. So glad. All right, let's go over our little door. Just kind of add a little wax. Kind of over the top and then over our little window. So we just added some character. Same thing to our little trim. It's very subtle. Not a lot. going to add this to our door. And putting it on like that. Make sure you get it lined up. Now we have our little door to our birdhouse, just like so. Cute, cute. Let's do our roof. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the residue from my wax brush. Same over here. We're going to glue on this to the top of this. I feel like I need some Tylenol. I feel like I'm getting a headache. I did not have my glasses. I did not wear my glasses like I should have while I was gone. And I can tell. Now, I got out of the lines. You can touch that up if you want to. It's completely up to you. If you get yours not coated very good, or you can just leave it. Oh yeah, it's about time. My bristles are starting to break off, but yeah, it's about time for a new one. For sure. Alright, I'm going to attach the back and the little piece that's this, the spacer. So now that you've got your roof piece, you want to flip this over and you're going to attach this on the back of here, and then you're going to glue this onto the back of there. So that's what you're going to do. So we're going to stick this on. Make sure that you don't have any wet glue when you stick it on your birdhouse, or else it'll get stuck on there. You don't want that. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to clean it out so that we don't have any wet glue in our little opening. So we're going to do the edge, I'm going to do this edge. And now right in here, I have glue that is seeped. So if I stick this on the top of my birdhouse, it's going to get stuck there because this is going to slide over. So I'm going to take my little wipe and I'm going to make sure that I clean that out really good. So there's no glue. And then we're going to do the same thing after we attach this again. So we're going to some of this glue on here. A little goes a long way. Remember? So we got this, and now we're going to put it on, and it says the back. This is for the back of the top of your house. So before you go painting your edges, make sure that you have this attached as well. Now you can sand that down and just keep it brown because then it'll kind of match the top of your birdhouse here. So when you slide that on, I'll show you here in a second, but I don't want to do that until I know that I don't have any wet glue in there. So I'm just going to stuff my little paper towel or my wipe inside that little opening and try to clean off any glue that might be in there that's wet. So now this is what goes over the top of your roof, and it attaches like that. So this is the back and it slides over the top. So if you want to paint this, you can. Mine's a little messy. I'm just going to let it be for the sake of, you know, this tutorial, but this is our door. So our roof is interchangeable. our door is interchangeable, and then our little home sign is interchangeable on our birdhouse. So the interchangeable birdhouse base comes with this roof, this door, and this sign, and your birdhouse. It's a great little starter to get you going. Now, if you're like, I don't want to put on this, you can just leave it like this. Don't put on your little sign. Stick you some little greens in there, like little sprigs. If you want to do some little green bits, or you want to make your own little things to like stick in there, use a popsicle stick or whatever. Make you some different little things that you can glue stuff to with cardboard. But this is our little birdhouse. And this, if you want to just get the birdhouse base, again, you're getting this, and your birdhouse. You're not going to get the seasonal inserts, okay? So we're going to do the spring one next. And we probably won't get to the Easter because I need to come back on and chit chat about whatnot. So that's my other thing I need to do before I leave. So I'm going to toss those. And our birdhouse is done. And now we're going to do the next insert. Let me put these over here. I'm not going to do any white bits to that. I'm just going to leave it. All right, now this one is one you can paint right on this board and then you can pop out your pieces. I have a bit of a mess happening here. And so just like with the birdhouse, you have the back to your roof, you've got your door, and you've got your little pieces, and these pieces have these little pieces that go over the top of this, okay? So again, you're going to be able to change out your whole birdhouse with a whole new look for a different season. So this is very kind of neutral, then we're going to change it out for spring. So maybe we want to do some colors. Maybe we want to do some different shades, okay? So my thing is, I'm going to do this, okay? If you get our subscription box, hold on. I had this in my head, okay, in case you get our subscription box. This was our subscription box that we did before I left on Thursday. Let me see what I might have to zoom this out. Hang on. Gotta pull up my computer so I can see. Okay, let's zoom out just a little bit. Okay, so this was our subscription box. It has a little easel back. And I'm going to do this one, okay, because I'm going to do these flowers to coordinate with this. So that if you got this birdhouse that's interchangeable, you could pair it up with this. And even though it's kind of spring, it could so totally go. And you could put this little birdhouse. You see what I did here? I did this to coordinate with something I've already done. So if you're crafting for you, I'm crafting for me, I'm showing you a way that you could do that, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm gonna use the colors I used here for this one here. Okay, hopefully you guys got that one. All right, so what I used was sand. We also used morning mist. We also used sea glass. Okay, and we also used warm beige. Okay, so these are the colors that I used on the flowers. For my house pieces, okay, so my house, you got to remember, my house is going to be this base. Okay, so I'm thinking, do I want to do the navy or the blue with the brown. Blue with the brown. Again, we're trying to figure out what we want to do here, right? Brown door. Or do we want to do, like, we're going to use a bright white for this one. Like a bright white. We're going to use bright white. Let's see. So let's do this one. The colors. So we're going to start, let's start with our flowers. And I want to do the morning mist flower. I want to do the sand color, or the warm color. Warm beige, morning mist are going to be my colors. And then I think I'm also going to do the sea glass. So we're going to do each one of these 3 colors. And then we will incorporate maybe the yellow on our door. Or yellow on our roof. But we want to incorporate some navy in here because I want to coordinate it over there. If you're brainstorming how to coordinate your different craft kits with each other, this is one of the ways you can do that. All right, so we're going to use our plate. And we're going to put our sea glass on there. We're going to do our warm beige, which I usually use as like a flesh color. Ooh, that one got messy. Oh, I got paint all in the lid. And then morning mist. Morning mist is like a really light, soft purple. It's very pretty. And then we're also going to use the sand color, which, believe it or not, sand is like a very pale yellow. I'm not very good with my lids and my paints. Alright, we already have navy on here. So the only other color that we need is our bright white. And I'm going to stick that right kind of there. Alright, let's scoot that over. Let's move that. And let's go from there. So we've got our colors. And I think I'm going to use a brush for this. We are going to wax just a smidge. Oh, there it is. Like, where's my brush? We're going to wax the whole thing. And you can just do it right on this little board here. Just going to go around the whole entire board. You don't do the whole board, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not really sure exactly what we're going to craft tomorrow. I need to figure out what that is. Don't know for sure. Alright, and then we really just need to do this flower right here. Everything else is done. There are 2 little flowers that kind of peek out over here, so I just want to make sure I got those. Alright, so that is finished. Let's get us a paper towel. And wipe that down. Alright, so you can see how much excess I wiped off. All right, so we've got our little flowers here. So we're gonna do the 3 colors, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll probably do these like a yellow color under here. So I think I'm gonna do this one. Doesn't have to be a daisy. It can be whatever color you want it to be. I think I'm gonna do this one, the warm beige. And I'm gonna get a brush for that. We're gonna use this one right here. I think this is one of my grandma's brushes. It's a Princeton brush. Can I ask why you wax it? Because I want the undercolor to be dark. And then when I distress it, it's going to distress just like this birdhouse did. So when I want to get a really distress with ease look. Okay, so if you are not really, like if you're not super crafty or you don't craft a lot, then you're going to learn what the different tricks and techniques are to get different outcomes. So if I painted this, if I stained this brown so that I can create a base underpainting of not the wood color, then okay, let me start that over. When you add your paint to just the raw wood, it wants to soak right into there, okay? And sometimes you want to distress it and you don't want your undercolor to be the wood color. You want it to be a little bit of a darker color, or you want to change the shade and value of the color you're laying on top of your wood. So if I put white on this, it might have a yellowy undertone. If I put brown on it first, it might have a richer undertone. This is, you're going to know, like, what look am I going for? What do I need to do to prep my piece, okay? No prep is just painting right on it. Prepping it is where you either wax it or you can use an undercolor of paint that is a different shade. So some people will use brown paint to stain, which I have also done, and it will distress a different way. Some people will use wax to distress or undercoat. It's like there's various reasons. There's not just one reason. Some people they just want their top color to be richer. They have no desire to distress. It just depends on whatever it is. My challenge to you is to get you a piece of wood. Don't even buy anything from me. Go get you a piece of wood. Go to the thrift store. Go find something at the hardware store. Go get you a 2x4 and start adding paint colors to the raw wood, and then stain one end with brown paint. Stain one end with wax. Stain another part of it with like min wax, like an oil-based or a water-based stain, and then add different layers of paint over the top and see what the different results are. And then when you go to do your next project, you're going to look at those different options and say, what do I want my base coat to be? What step do I need to do first? But if I had $1 for every time anybody asked me, why do you wax first? Why do you distress? Why do you do XYZ? It's a whole, like, what is the end result you're looking for? So you're starting with nothing. Where do you want to go? What do you want it to look like? And so that's kind of the reasons why I do certain things certain ways. I want to distress this, and I want to distress it where I barely put my sandpaper over it, and it really gives me a very aged, grungy, grimy, gross distress versus just a little subtle. I want it to look antiqued and rustic and aged and weathered and all the things. So, practice, do your own test pieces, and then you'll have your examples for like the future when you do your like crafting and stuff. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to use this paintbrush here. And I'm going to do this one right here. Okay, we're going to do this one, the warm beige. And we have this piece right here that's going to go over the middle. So I don't have to worry about being super perfect with how I paint it. Now I know that when I add one coat to this wax and it's rich, it's going to start to seep because it is a water-based wax, but it's got some I don't want to say silkiness, but it's got a feel to it where it feels kind of waxy and oily, but it's not an oil-based wax. It's a water-based wax. And so it wants to kind of seep into your paint. So I like to do one coat and see how it looks before I go on to the next, because I know that if I do one coat, it might look really good if I just do a little distressing. If I want it to be a little bit of a richer layer, then I will add another coat over that, and I might have to use a little more elbow grease to distress. And I also want some brush strokes. So I'm using this as kind of like a mixed bristle brush instead of a sponge. And then plus I can create some, you know, I can isolate my application areas of my colors and not get into these other pieces and paint everything on this board. So I'm just going to go flower petal by flower petal and just lay down that coat. Now I can see that it's becoming a little more rich than I would like for it to be, but I want to let this dry, and then I'm going to come through and do really messy top coat over that so it looks a little layered. And it is a little heavy coverage right there where it overlapped. But let me show you right over here where there's no wax what this kind of looks like. You get a whole different coverage here as you do over here on this wax. Let's dry it. The under shade of this, the under painting of this, is a yellow base in the wood. So the way that it looks is going to look completely different. The under base of this, the under painting over here, is this dark wax. So my top coat of paint over that looks very different than what it looks like over here. So I know if I want this outcome, I'm going to do no wax. If I want this outcome, I'm going to wax it. Also, this is going to distress differently. It's not going to distress like this will. Like, see how it's just immediately starts to lift away and just create the result I'm looking for. So I'm going to take my brush with not a lot of paint on it, and I'm going to hold it more in a line versus that. I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to do more of a line than this coat here over our petals. So I want to do just kind of hit or miss little drops. I'm just going to drop off a little bit of paint on those petals instead of coating the whole petal. I can spend however much time I want given whatever details I want to give this. Because I'm going to sand that, and I know as soon as I sand it, the different layers, there's a one layer of paint, a second layer of paint, and then there's like a gap in between. As soon as you start distressing that, the different layers are going to distress differently. So this is going to go over the middle of this one. That's going to be our center of our little pinky flower that's going to go right up here. So that pink flower is going to be the top. I say pink because it really does. It does look kind of peachy pink up against other colors. So we're going to do this color, and this color. That's going to be the three flowers that are going to go right here. So the top flower is going to be this one. We're going to do our bottom flower is going to be the morning mist. We're going to do this flower here is going to be like a green. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys and you're taking some valuable, helpful, crafty tips and adding it into your little crafty bag. Rhonda, practice, girl. Practice, practice, practice. You got this. These are great little boards if you get these. I know there's a lot of flashback from our laser beds on here, but you can paint on this and really practice on before you do like the front side of it. You can really practice. It's not going to have like all the little scoring details, but it'll have the shape that you can work with. All right. So we're going to do the next one. So that's going to be this flower right here, and I'm going to use my tool to go through all these little lines after I've applied my coat of paint. And y'all, I put way too much paint over here. So we're going to go all along this with our sea glass color. And I'm going to do a really thin coat. Over the top. And now it looks like just a blob. So we're going to take our little tool and we're going to go through all of our little lines. Bring all those little petals back. I gotta find them. Oh my God, look at that, me getting out of the lines. We're just going to bring back our little flowers. And if I got it wrong, I can go back and fix it. You get like a little buildup of stuff on your little tool. So I like to keep that cleaned off. So is it perfect? No. No, it is not. Go all the way through right there. So now we got our little petals. Let's come back into our paint one more time. Okay. And we're going to come right over that again. Kind of splotchy. Little spot there. So anywhere we might have made a mistake, we can kind of fill that in. So our little flower. So this flower is going to go up there. And we're going to do our morning mist flower down here. And that's that light purple, which I just adore, that color. So morning mist, same brush, just cleaned it out. I'm doing a little bit heavier of a coat. I don't want to do a second coat, but I want there to be a little bit more. got this. Now we've got a flower that goes on our door. We've got the center. We've got these two flowers here. So I think I'm going to do these the sand color, which is kind of that yellow. And then I'm also going to do the center of this flower here is going to be a white. Our bright white. All right, so I'm going to do sand down here on these little popping out flowers. And they're going to pop out underneath that purple, that morning mist. All right, then we're going to do this here is going to be white. So let's clean that. Going to be that bright white. And there. We're going to let that dry. So it's coming together. I think it's going to look great. All right, second little pass over. Now, if you saw how I did this, I did it really kind of an aged white coat, and I did it very scratchy and distressed. I really like that. So I'm not going to do too much on here because I really want it to look kind of aged, like a little bit. Pre-aged before I even distress. All right, then we have this little center over here, which is going to go on here. So this is going to be a white center. I'm going to also do probably a white center here. Okay, so we're going to do this one white. Hello, Tanya. How's it going? And then we can add something to that if we want to. All right, so like I said, I'm a very visual person, so I want to see what this is looking like so far. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. Okay. Do all the little things. So we're going to pop this out. We're going to pop out this flower. And I want to see what it looks like. Pop out this one. I should have done it the other way. Like I should have popped it out from the back instead of the front. So it already started to lift my paint off of my flower. So let's fold this around. Okay, so we got this. We're going to push that little piece, a little sliver through. You don't need that. Alright, so we're going to have our little flower here. And then we're going to put on a top. Our flower. And then we're going to do this one, goes here. Let me see, where is it attached? I don't know exactly. My door's gonna fall out. Oh, it's attached right here. So that's gonna go there. And then we have our little yellow flowers kind of peeking through the bottom. So I think what I'm going to do is do my door yellow. I think I'm going to do my door yellow. With Hold on. I want to do our, I also am going to do my door, I think I'm going to do my door blue. I already did a blue door, but I'm going to do a blue door with this, with a white. And then I'm going to do a yellow on my roof, I think. Although a yellow door would be super cute too. A yellow with a white border. But I'm also thinking a yellow flower on my blue door with a white would be really cute. And then we can incorporate something up in our roof. So let's do that. So let's do a blue door, white frame, and a yellow flower. That's going to be these little yellow colors down here. So that's going to be what we're going to do for that. Let me grab this blue right here, and let's go ahead and coat that. Could have done completely done a different color, but I'm feeling the blue. Our birdhouse is going to be super cute. Okay, blue. Let's come in and do a little bit more blue just because I feel like it needs it. Going to be great. Okay, now I'm going to slide this up, and we're going to do the white with a yellow flower. So let's go ahead and paint that flower yellow, and we'll pop that out of there. And it's not really yellow, it's sand, the sand color. All right. Again, I love this. This little birdhouse is so super cute. It could go in your office, on your desk. Do little, like, kids could do it. So fun. So much fun. Alright, so I'm going to go through all these little lines just for the center of our flower. Just for that little detail. And then I'm going to come back over it again with a little bit of that sand. This is going to go on our door. Cute. Alright, let's pop that out. Okay, door, yellow flower. All right, now we're going to do white around. Oh my gosh, y'all. Let's stick it in here. Let's see. See how cute our little door is going to be. OMG. Let's lay this on top of here. So cute. Let's do the door. Loving the colors, right? Isn't it cute? Alright, let's do a bright white border. You could do something completely different. Thanks, you guys. I really think it's cute. I'm coordinating this with our crafty crate from Thursday. You can do whatever you want. And we still have to sand it and do all the things. Let's do a second coat. Kind of a messy second coat. All right. Now, I'm kind of unsure what I want to do with this here. This is what I'm trying to coordinate to. So I think we should do a wood. A wood with a yellow. 'Cause I really like the yellow bits. Let's do the, we'll leave the wood and we'll do this yellow, which is the sand color. It's looking so cute. All right, so come in here with that. You could use a sponge. I can already imagine how cute it's going to be. Do another little layer. That was too much. So this piece is going to go over the top of that. That's going to be peeking up underneath. I like it. I really like it a lot. All right, now we're going to start sanding everything and putting it together. And this is where you want to use either a heavy or light sandpaper, because remember, we dark wax this with the wax, not paint. And so this is going to distress really easily just by barely like running your sandpaper across the top of it. So you just don't want to overdo it at all. So just a little light distress. Let's go through these little lines here of our petals. So let me show you with your alcohol markers. If you want to use alcohol markers, you can do that. If not, you can skip it. I have this one right here. I don't know that it's very, I say powerful. I don't know that it's very powerful. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But I'm going to come right into there. And I feel like this is more of a blue hue than a purple for some odd reason. Right where that center is. I just feel like it needs to be a little more. Let's go in with a gray. Let's come in with this here gray. This is going to go over the top of this, and we want to give it just a little dimension. Just a little pop in the center. go back over it again. And we put this over the middle. Now our flower has a little bit more substance to it. So I am going to cover that little tabbed spot there that's sticking out. And I'm going to glue this onto the center of this flower. But first, let's take our darker pen and let's go through our lines just to define our petals a little more. Just a little bit, very subtle. And we're gonna add our little center to the middle. Okay, so let's go ahead and distress both of these little yellow bits down here. Just tapping to sand. Take this marker, I'm gonna go through like the little middles. Hello, Beverly. How are you? And this is going to get glued onto here, but we're not going to glue that on until we do our little flower here. So let's do this top flower. And I think I'm going to need to get my other lighter grit sandpaper. And I might have to go back over this because it's really flaking off more than I would like for it to. Especially like on the edges. So I'm just going to come back and touch it up. That's more than I would like. It's definitely more than I want it to be. And then I'm going to lightly sand this. And we're going to add our little circle bits top. Alright, let me get my paintbrush. Hello, Diana. With some of that warm beige. And we're just going to touch up what we over distressed. We're just going to try and clean it up a little bit more. So if you ever do too much, you can just go back over it. And it'll still look distressed, it just won't look as distressed. My edges are just too much. I think that looks a lot better than it did. A lot cleaner. All right, now this is going to go over the middle of that. Okay, so that one goes at the top. And then we want to glue that on there. So let's go ahead and put this on. I'm not going to do any little alcohol ink stuff to this. just gonna put my little center on. And I'm just gonna come through the little petals. Make sure they're cleaned out. I think I missed anything. Maybe a little bit. Alright, so those two flowers are ready to go. Now we're going to work on this one. Again, I'm going to use the smaller or the lighter grit to go over my green. Now this is where we can add a little bit of dimension to this. I don't really have like a sea glass color, so I'm gonna need to be very clever with how we do our color on this, because I don't want it to be like this. Let's see what color, how does this look? See, that's a little too much. Not really a fan. Let's go with this color. It's a little green also. Let's go with this blue. That's too much also. So let's take, let's see here. How do we, let's go with, I always, if I can't find what I'm looking for, I will go with a gray base. So this is a lighter gray. It's very soft and, but I don't want those colors on my finger here because that will bleed. I'm going to use some alcohol to get that off. Where's my alcohol? There it is. So I just have some alcohol I'm going to spray on a wipe. And I'm just going to try and get some of that color off of there. So that I don't smudge too much of something into that color there, but we are going to use a gray. So we're going to come through and we're just going to add little bits of gray. Kind of let it dry. Oh, I missed a whole spot. Just adding dimension. Not really color, but like depth. Just dabbing with this little alcohol marker. And then I'm just blotting it with my finger. Now if you want to take it up a shade, you can go up a shade. If you want to do just a little bit deeper, you can come in and add a little more right around those little areas. On top of that. Yeah, I'm very extra, so I like to do all the little, I like to do like all the little extra things. You like when I teach the techniques? You know, Tanya, it's hit or miss with some people. Some people just want me to put some paint on, hurry up and get the tutorial done because they are very, I know people are busy and stuff like that, but I'm like, if you don't want to do all that, just put color on. You don't really need an in-depth tutorial. Pick your colors you want, add it on there, paint it, and just be done. But I like to do little extra things. But the number of people who don't want they want the look, but with a very fast result, and it's not fast. You gotta layer and take your time, and you gotta use, like, you gotta get you a marker, you gotta do this, you gotta do something to create the layers. Like, before, it didn't have any sort of petal look. It was just a flat color. And you can do that. Like, you don't have to do extra. I want it to look a little more extra. So I'm going to do extra. And then once I do it, I'm like, okay, where would I want a little bit more of a depth of a shadow, like in that fold? If you want some highlight, you can add like some white paint. It does. It gives it depth. It really gives it some character. Then the next thing you can do is to go up another shade. Okay, another shade. This will be like the darker shade. I have this one, here it is. This shade. So this is like a whole step up, okay? Or you can go in with the color we talked about a minute ago. I don't really have an alcohol marker that's a sea gloss color that's like, what would really go with this? I don't really have a color that I'm comfortable putting in there. So I'm gonna go with something like this that I can go through all these little lines and I can just redefine them and give them a little bit more of like what appears to be like a drop shadow. But it's just around that edge to just make the petal pop. While it's also super distressed. So just going around all the little lines. It's not like a really rich deep black. It's just a dark gray color. So it doesn't matter that it's a sea glass. This is a good neutral to use for the petal lining on this one right here and right there. Oh, and I missed that one. So I used all three of these, not even the color of this, to create the depth to this. So grays are your friend when you're wanting to add shadows and shading and like substance, even if it's not a matching color. You can use grays. So that's why I kind of keep them not in my box. I keep them over here because I can use them. We use gray on this one. We tried to use a purple. It didn't give me the result I was looking for, so I added a gray, which I could probably come back in here and add a little more. Well, I'm not going to do that. But what I am going to do is right down underneath this petal, I'm going to take this mid gray, and we're going to come underneath and then pull upward, which is probably, see how it created a really harsh line? It dried so fast that I didn't get to smudge it. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to sand that down. Okay, because this is where you learn. It's like, oh gosh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. I know, right? So now I'm going to scratch some of that paint, taking the white off. I'm going to get my brush. I'm going to fix it. Just fix it. White paint. And I'm just going to dab right along that edge. Little bit of paint. And say, okay, the look I was going for, can I try to create that by fixing what I just did? Well, of course. You can add a little distressing to that. And now fixed it. It's good. I'm not going to use my marker again. Now, if you wanted to take your little center, this little flower here up a notch, you can come in with an even lighter color, like mix white into your sea glass and make it a lighter shade and add a highlight to every top of your petal. So I'll show you what that would look like. Let's let this be a lesson, okay? Just in case you're trying to create depths, highlights and stuff. So I'm going to take the same brush. It's like a flat 1/4 inch. And I've got my little sea glass here. And I've got some white. So I'm going to grab some sea glass. I'm going to grab some white. We're going to try and drop that shade down to a highlight. Like it's not a white, but it's not this. It's like an in-between, and it's a brighter shade that's going to go over the top of it. So see how it's a lot lighter? And all you're gonna do is come around the top of your petals and just dust you on a highlight. And it's going to dry down, but you can see where we did the sea glass, we did the alcohol marker, and then we're just dusting on the little highlight. So right over the top. Just going to give us some highlight. Even up on the edge if we want to do that. And it's going to look atrocious until they're all done, and then you're going to be like, oh gosh, that just looks magical. Just makes it come to life. And all the people who don't want the tutorials are like, how'd you get that? How did you do that? Well, you have to watch hour 142 of that one video to figure out how to do it. But when you know the technique, if you want to do it, you can. You don't want to do it because you're like, girl, I ain't got time for that today. You can do it when you can. You can practice. And so we've just started adding a little highlight to every little petal right through here. And it's the furthest from the center. So with this petal, you're doing the furthest from the center. And then just keep going in your little rotation. And notice how I haven't picked up any more paint. I haven't gone back in my little thing over there. I have enough to do every one of these because we're not using a whole lot of paint. And now we've done our little highlight. And look at how the magic happens. It's just magical. And look, we just used 2 colors, a white in our sea glass and a little flat brush, 1/4 inch. Not a lot of paint. And we just tipped the little ends of our petals. And just like that, we have an instant transformation. There we go. I am going to separate this right here because I feel like it just needs it. I feel like there should be a petal there. All right, now we're going to glue all these pieces on. So we're going to glue on this one to the top. Oops, just about dropped it right in the glue. So we're going to glue this one on. So that flower is a one-dimensional flower. It doesn't have a little centerpiece to glue on. It doesn't have any sort of extra anything. A little dab will do some amazing things. That is right. A little dab will do amazing things. Absolutely. So we've got now this flower and this flower. Hello, Jen Martin. I'm glad to be back, girl. That was the longest trip ever. April, do you realize that we traveled for 4 days and we were there for 1 whole day?
Yeah, but I slept with my kids twice.
I know you did. You did stay the night with your kids twice.
So that like made it feel like more. But it was totally worth it for me. Was it worth it for you?
Girl, it was not worth. I mean, it was worth it to move her back, but
Yeah.
like, oh my. Oh my. All right, where's my flat piece? Okay, flat piece goes here. April got to see her kids while we were gone. And if you're not sure who April is, she is my sister. Is she cooking craft kits? She is not. She's pulling stuff off the machines. She is pulling off. Hey, April, when that's done, don't run it.
Okay.
Okay, just because I'll be done here. I'm going to finish this. I'm not going to get to the Easter one because it's already like 5:15. But I did do the spring and the one that came with it. So that's a bonus. All right, so let me show you the little insert in our little birdhouse. I mean, it just looks so fantastic. She had a wonderful time with her kids. Absolutely. All right, let's take out our door. Let's work on our door. So if you just got here, we already did the birdhouse part, the interchangeable birdhouse. It also has its own pieces. So it comes with its own roof, its own door, and its own little home sign. So the birdhouse comes with that. Now we're doing the spring insert add-on for the birdhouse. That's what we're working on. I wanted to try to do the Easter one too, but I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get to it, but I was gonna try. All right, so we got our door here is blue. We're gonna sand it. Kind of looks crazy. I am going to use a piece of a paper towel just to kind of buff this. So, I'm going to show you a little trick in case you did not know. I have a wet wipe here. When you sand dark colors sometimes, it breaks down the white base of it. And so if you want to reactivate the depth of the color, you can just use like a wet wipe or some water. Let me get some more water on my wipe. My wipe is not very wet. There it is. Where's my water? So you can take some water and kind of reactivate your color. And it brings back some of the pigmentation because you pull off some of that white, the whiteness, the white pigment of the paint, because you know it's blue paint that's made with a white base. And I'm just going to go over it. Bring that. That is true. That is very true. All right, so now we've got our little white frame. Let's pop out, or not our frame, our door. Our door. Let's push out this little piece here. It's tabbed right in that spot. Alright, so I'm going to go over my little door frame. Sand it. going to go over the top. Okay, and I was not very clean with my edges. So I'm going to try and sand that down. At least on the inside. Alright, let's glue on the door frame. And then we'll put our flower on. Y'all, this glue sometimes is like instant contact adhesion. Other times, you got 4 fans running on it trying to get it to dry and bond. Don't understand it. All right, we got our little flower. Goes on our door. If you do too much, remember you can always add back. And just like I did with the others, I'm going to use gray for the middle of this flower. Oh, I just dropped it. Alright. Find that little tab spot there. Now this is going to go on the center of our door. Like it's a little door hanger for our birdhouse. You can put it the rotation however you like. Alright, so we've got our flowers. We got our little door. Okay, little blue door. Now we're going to do our roof, and our roof is yellow. So, next is this piece. So let's go ahead, sand that down. I think I'm going to have to pop it out. Get our other sandpaper. Add a little extra stressing. Let's get the top portion. And then these are your back pieces to make the roof interchange. Extra sanded that. Really cute. All right, I'm going to incorporate some blue into this here yellow. And let me get my blue paint. This is Deep Midnight Blue. And I'm going to get me a little paintbrush. And I'm going to do some dots on here. And we're going to dry those because I do not want those to smudge. And I'm going to get a smaller brush and do smaller dots. Let's do this tiny little brush and do a tiny little dot, which I feel like that's just not really a tiny dot. It's just a smaller, barely a smaller version. All right, and then this is going to go over the top of that. So let's dry these little dots. It's going to take us a second. I don't want to melt and bubble up my little paint dots. Turn down to 140. I don't want to smudge them. I think it's cute too. We could have done a different color in between the blue, but I wanted to incorporate some of the blue into the yellow. And we could do like a blue dot in the middle of this one. Maybe do something over there. I don't know, but this is what we got so far. It's kind of like a cottagey little spring birdhouse, but it kind of could be everyday too. Let's check. They're still a little wet. Just give it another second. I'm nervous and I'm going to smudge it. All right. And then we're going to add our little trim piece on. To the top of our birdhouse. And I'm going to add little stitches because I'm obsessed with those right now. Little stitches. Let me gently pick this up. Get it lined up. Almost, almost. Look how cute that is. Now we're going to grab the piece off of our board. This is the back of the top of your birdhouse. That makes it interchangeable. So just push these out. You don't even got to paint them. And you're going to glue this onto here. Like that. To the back. All right, now there's glue in here, so I'm going to clean that out of there. So it's not going to stick to my birdhouse and get stuck. Now we're going to flip this over, and this is going to get glued like that on the top. I'm trying to be really sparing with my glue. All right. I'm going to stick this up in there. Make sure it's clean. All right. So now our little birdhouse roof will slide over the top. Just like that. So I think what I'm gonna do, this is so cute. So stinking cute. Let's put that back. Let's get us some white to go on our little roof. Do some little stitches. Let's do a little doorknob. Let's find us a blue. I think this one might work. No, that's not right. Let me get my other pens. Let me grab my other pens that are like the gel pens. And I'm gonna add something to my white. But I think I'm gonna do this pinky color on the door. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna use my paint. I'm gonna use my paint and a paintbrush. Or hold on. I need a tiny, 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 tiny little thing. Oh, you know what I got? Ha ha. I got these. Bam. This is from Amazon, y'all. These were 30 bucks, okay? Just letting you know they're $29. I went ahead and ordered them because I don't have dotting things, and I keep looking at my paintbrushes and I don't have enough things. So these are all different, they are dotting tools. And I've been doing these dots and stitches, and I'm like, we need better tools. So I got these on the Amazon. So that's what we're going to use. That's what we're going to use. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to pick one of these out of here. I'm going to open this up. Don't you love when you just get new stuff? They were not on sale, I will tell you that, but I did go ahead and buy them because I feel like, you know what, for 30 bucks, I'm going to get a lot of use out of those. So let's open these. And I'm going to put them over here in my toolbox, my little Cobalt toolbox drawers. We're going to use these. Look at those. Problem solution. Look at this. We can make really big dots. Julie, I am going to 100% put them in one of my little drawers. So this one has really tiny little ends. So I think I'm going to use this, or maybe even this one. Actually, maybe this one. We need little dots. So let's go with this one. Also, it has a little, like, you can make little stitch lines. I was like, this is so fantastic. I'm love. So let's find us an empty drawer, shall we? There we go. Right there in the green one. Fantastic. And this is dual ends. So we're going to go into our warm beige here. Thank you so much, everybody. Queen Mother, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So we're going to go in with the, let's go in with the S2 end. They look cool because they are so fantastic and cool. I'm not going to use what's here because it's dried out. Let me get some out of the lid. Let's do that. I want to put some of that pinky color on my door. So let's go in with this and let's give us a little dot. These are fantastic. Right around our door. I love it. Makes life so much easier. You know what's so interesting is that everything we just did to our plain birdhouse is all the add-on stuff. And then you just clean off your end, and now you can put it back in your drawer. And you can use it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. I thought it was a great, I thought it was a little pricey, but the value of it was I'm going to get a lot of use out of it. Now I just got to practice like doing little dotting things. But this is our interchangeable spring birdhouse. Okay. And then this is the one that comes with it. So I'm trying to set this up here so you guys can see this. Let me move this. All right. I think I got it situated here. So your birdhouse is going to come with these add-on pieces. This is a separate add-on of the spring door, okay? And I'm going to show you how this looks, and then I'm going to put this back on there, and I'm going to show you the difference in the two make. And this is about, what did I say it was? 9 inches. About 9 inches. And the widest point is like 3.5. Super cute. We want to dry our dots though. And I like a distressed look. So my birdhouse base is distressed. You could do a colored birdhouse. Just want all of our little dots to be dry. All right, so let's take off our spring. Okay, so you can see what that looks like. Your little spring. So this is the spring add-on inserts for the base of your birdhouse. So your birdhouse looks like this. Okay, this is the base. No top, no door, no bottom. But it comes with this. So it's going to come with the basic home with a door. And the awesome part about this is you can leave off the sign. Just have your little birdhouse. You can add your little sign. And this is the way the birdhouse kit comes. It comes with this insert. So if you don't want to do any extras, this is the base kit. But if you want to do the extras, you can change it out. You can take off your little tops, take off your little door, and take off your little sign and change it for a whole different look. So even though we did 2 blue doors, our doors look very different. And then we've got our little flowers that just slide in there. And they don't fall off. Cute, 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 cute. Okay, so now we've crafted. Let me fix my camera here. It needs to go up just a little bit. So this is our cutesy little, I know the light is so bright over here, but this is what our birdhouse looks like. So adorable. If you want to check out this collection, it is on the Interchangeable page, okay? We have an Interchangeable page that has all of our interchangeable collections on that page. And you're going to scroll to the bottom, and it's going to be there at the bottom, and it's going to say Interchangeable Birdhouse, and it's going to have the birdhouse, and then all the different ones that you can add on to it. This, I have more, I just haven't finished them. I've gotten a few of them done for the first part of the year. There is other seasons, there is other holidays. I just have to get them finished, and I have not done that. Listen, Mastermind had me gone for a week. Then I had to come back and play catch up. Then we went out of town to go move my mother-in-law back, and then I'm like, okay, now I feel like I got to play catch up again. So I have a whole basket of other interchangeables I have to finish. I have the rest of the drawer inserts. I also have the birdhouse I have to finish working on, and I'm trying to finish up Easter so that we can go on to the next seasons, like the summer, 4th of July, Christmas in July. There's a lot of stuff that we've got to start working towards, but I'm really trying to finish up our Easter things and working on these new interchangeable collections, because that's kind of what we were going to do. Like the in-between of like spring and summer was like everyday interchangeable things. And so that is what I've been working on. So we got the drawer, we've got the birdhouse, we've got the big window. We added the cloche things. We added the little interchangeable sitter add-ons that we crafted with the bird cage and stuff like that. Yeah, so I am really trying to play catch up. So today was doing the interchangeable birdhouse to get you started. Hopefully you love it. Thank you, Queen Mother 12. I'm so glad that you love that. I think it's really cute. So let me come to my face only. Number one, if you're on YouTube, the description, in the description, there's a link to this collection where you can go shop it. If you're on Facebook, you can comment the word interchangeable and we will send you a message to your messenger with the link to the interchangeable page. And the reason I send you to the interchangeable page and not the interchangeable birdhouse is because it's all of the interchangeables are there. Every interchangeable collection we have, and we have a bunch of them, and you could be new. And we don't know what type of interchangeable. You might be like, oh my gosh, I also love this one. It's just a way for you. It's like a collections page of everything interchangeable. So be sure to go and check that out. Comment the word interchangeable. I did pin a link, pin the comment on Facebook that says comment interchangeable. I saw that feature today and I was like, I wonder if that actually works. So I have the comment where it's pinned. It says comment interchangeable. And then I will take pictures and I will post them. And tomorrow I'll be back with a different project, but I'm going to come back on my phone and do a video. I will not be on the YouTube channel on this video because I'm going to do it on my phone. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I will do it on this system here. I might come back on. I'm going to talk to you about Whatnot because that is something that we're going to add new this year. So Whatnot is an auction platform, and we're going to be doing Whatnot sales weekly, and we're going to try and see how it works, how people like it. It's not going to replace our shop. It's not going to be like, oh, you're going to switch to. That's not what's happening. It's going to be in addition to what we already do. We already have an Etsy shop. We already have our Shopify store. We already run multiple sales. We already do a lot of different promotions. This is just a different way for people to, it's not going to be, like, it's not, the deal you're going to get is that you're going to get things discounted there. If people bid more, then they wanted it that bad. Okay, that's all I can say. We are not going to be starting our auctions at $1. I'm going to explain that here when we go and when I go live. I'm going to talk about that. Our shirts will start at $7, and our craft kits will start anywhere from $2 to $5, depending on which one what type of craft kit it is. It may be higher than that. But I'm going to set the foundation of our expectations of what we're willing to say. If someone were to be the only bidder, what are we okay selling it for? That is where I'm trying to move forward. And so we're going to be doing things a little bit different than what probably other people do, which is our prerogative. If you, like I always say, if you don't want to participate, you certainly don't have to participate. But our auctions for items are not going to be, they may be things that we're going to be retired. But mostly what it is we have a lot of situations where the wrong thing gets cut, or I've come here and crafted with y'all, and then I come here and glue things together. So I will glue things together to take a picture, and then I will sometimes cut a second one that I may or may not craft. If I can get to it, I want to have the second one already cut. If I don't get a chance to craft that, then it goes into what we started last year called inventory closeout. And basically it was everything that was in inventory closeout was a 50% off deal. And that was also clearing out all of our in-stock inventory all last year. So now we have like 4 or 5 shelves that we have like craft kits that were overcut, overstocked, extra that was left over. I didn't get a chance to craft it. And we don't work on an inventory on-hand system other than some of our products. All of our wood kits are cut to order. So when you order something, it is cut for you. It does not come from that room. It doesn't come from an overstock. We don't have that system. So what we want to do is take all these things and say, okay, let's go do those on Whatnot, and let's start it here, and let's let people have a deal. It is not going to be the new price you're going to pay for those kits, and we're not to say that we're ever going to have that available again. It's whatever was miscut, overcut, I didn't get to craft, and then we may or may not, I may or may not, offer my finished things on Whatnot. And I don't know. I don't even know. It's like parting ways with things that I'm like, I really love that. It's just, you know, it's like I hoard my crafts that I've made and I store them just in case I want to like use them over and over and over again. But people have asked me, do you sell your finished stuff? And I'm like, I don't sell the finished stuff because I don't want to create this expectation that I'm going to make 10 of these birdhouses and they're all going to be available. This is the one and only. This is the one and only. And there will not be another. Like this is the one and only. But I want to keep the birdhouse in the inserts because I want to be able to take pictures of the ones I get done and, you know, show them. So I may or may not do finished things. I may or may not do off-season finished things. But then we also have a lot of these things that are the blanks that I've glued together that you could paint even though it's assembled. And I thought, okay, well, maybe we could have those go and part ways with those after we photographed the kit. We have a lot of stuff, and so I don't want to put that in my shop. I don't really want to do that. And so I figured if we're going to have some fun with Whatnot, why not do it on Whatnot like this way? When are you starting it? So Karen, we've been sending out a bazillion emails. We've been sending out a bazillion broadcasts. I've made about 6 posts talking about Whatnot, and our first Whatnot show is on Thursday. So Thursday is the first show, and it's going to be our t-shirts. And then the next Thursday is also going to be t-shirts. No. Yes. We're going to do 2 shows that are t-shirts and 2 shows that are craft kits. And I'm going to come back on and talk about that. That way this video can end and we can just move on to the next thing. So what are those tools called? The tools were called dotting tools. They were just dotting tools from Amazon, and it's called Happy Dotting Company. Happy Dotting Company. That's what I used. So I'm going to come back on here momentarily and talk about Whatnot and what that looks like. And the reason I wanted to be on my phone is because I could walk around. I can't take any of this equipment anywhere else, so I'll probably come back on my phone. And that way we can leave and go look around before I leave. And then tomorrow will be Wednesday, so it'll be the day before. And then Thursday will be the day of. So we have 2 days to talk about this. And I was out of town. So I really want to talk about it. I want to get everybody familiar with it. There is absolutely zero pressure. Zero pressure. but I will say this. You could potentially be the single bidder of a t-shirt and get it for $7 plus shipping. And that would be a great deal for some people. So you could be the second bidder and get maybe a shirt for $8. I don't know. But that's where we're going to start. That's what we're going to do. And that is how we're going to clear out our t-shirt inventory, is going to be through Whatnot. We're not putting the shirts back in the shop. You cannot get them. They're going to be Whatnot only. So just keep that in mind. Like for example, the shirt I'm wearing right now is the Bubblegum Highland Cow. So super cute, and I have it on Heather Purple. Obsessed. Love this. I always get so many people that just act like they're like, where do you get that shirt? We made it. We made it in my shop. So we have the transfer, we have the shirts, and this will be offered next week. It's not going to be in the show on Thursday. It'll be in the week after, and we will just keep doing Whatnot shows until we clear through all of our t-shirts. So let me just say thank you for being here today. Appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being with me on our very long interchangeable birdhouse video. If you want to check it out, comment the word birdhouse, or comment the word interchangeable, and then go to the interchangeable birdhouse spot there on that page. So y'all enjoy your evening, and